The massive warship descended slowly through the thick atmosphere, its sleek metallic hull gleaming against the swirling clouds of Earth. Inside the command bridge, Commander Vex of the Xarn Dominion watched the readings with a mixture of confidence and curiosity. To his people, Earth was known as the deadliest death world in the galaxy, a planet where few species could survive for long. The Xarn had conquered many hostile worlds before, but Earth was a unique challenge. They expected hostility, but what awaited them was something else entirely. As the ship touched down on a vast plain, dotted with twisted, resilient trees and jagged rocks, the Xarn warriors prepared to deploy. Their armor was advanced, designed to withstand radiation, extreme temperatures, and toxic atmospheres. They moved swiftly and silently, their steps calculated and disciplined. Earth's air tasted strange, clean, but sharp, with hints of minerals the scanners couldn't fully identify. Commander Vex had studied Earth's biosphere and climate from afar. They knew the planet's reputation for brutal weather, dangerous wildlife, and unpredictable natural disasters. But what the Xarn didn't expect was the subtle chaos woven into the fabric of human life. The first hours passed in tense exploration. The Xarn advanced cautiously, scanning for threats. Yet, no hostile forces appeared. No ambushes, no traps, no aggressive defense. Instead, they found signs of human activity everywhere. Small settlements, farms, roads winding through the wilderness. Curious structures stood oddly out of place, crafted from materials that Xarn had never seen used in construction. They looked fragile but had withstood decades of storms, earthquakes, and floods. Then, without warning, the weather turned. Dark clouds gathered quickly, swallowing the horizon. Winds began to howl through the trees, bending them as if they were made of paper. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the jagged rocks like eerie sculptures. The Xarn warriors tightened their formation, their senses on high alert. To them, this was an enemy. Nature itself had become a weapon. The storm struck with a fury the Xarn had only read about in reports. Torrential rain flooded the plains, rivers swelled and spilled over their banks, and the wind howled like a living thing. The Xarn scrambled for shelter, their armored suits creaking under the pressure of the elements. Even their technology struggled. Scanners flickered and communications lagged. But amidst the chaos, the Xarn noticed something truly astonishing. Nearby, in a small human village, people moved calmly through the storm. Children ran laughing through puddles, while elders stood watching the sky with quiet smiles. A few humans even stepped outside their homes, arms raised, faces turned upward as if welcoming the storm. Commander Vex's jaw tightened. How could these fragile creatures treat such violent weather as nothing more than a passing inconvenience? He barked orders to regroup, but his mind raced. This was no ordinary conquest. Earth's inhabitants had endured something far beyond mere survival. They embraced it. That night, as the storm raged on, the Xarn warriors huddled in their shelters, shaken not by enemy fire, but by the terrifying, raw power of Earth and the strange, fearless calm of its people. Commander Vex recorded in his log, "If these are the Deathworlders, then we face not enemies, but forces of nature incarnate. Their strength lies not in weapons, but in endurance. We must learn quickly, or be broken." The morning after the storm dawned with an eerie stillness. The Xarn warriors emerged cautiously from their makeshift shelters, their armor dripping with rain and streaked with mud. Commander Vex surveyed the transformed landscape. Trees were bent nearly to breaking. Rivers had carved new paths through the land, and the once familiar plain was now a tangle of debris and flooded fields. The storm had been more than a test of endurance. It was a vivid demonstration of Earth's raw, unpredictable power. Yet the humans, those strange, small creatures, had weathered it without panic or desperation. Instead, they moved through the aftermath with a calm that unnerved the Xarn. As the Xarn scouts advanced toward a nearby village, they witnessed scenes that contradicted everything they expected. Families emerged from their homes to inspect the damage, but instead of despair, there was laughter. Children splashed through puddles as if the storm had been an invitation rather than a threat. Neighbors greeted each other warmly, sharing stories of the storm's spectacle. Elders sat quietly on porches, sipping steaming drinks and watching the sun break through the clouds. One human, an elderly woman with silver hair and eyes full of quiet wisdom, stood barefoot in the mud and planted seeds in a garden ravaged by floodwaters. Her hands moved steadily and patiently, coaxing life back into the earth. To the Xarn, this defiance of destruction was baffling. Most species retreated, rebuilt, or relocated after disasters. Humans seemed to treat devastation as a part of life, almost as if they invited it. The Xarn medical officer, Lieutenant Jax, noted in his report, "The physiological and psychological endurance of these humans is unprecedented. They do not merely survive natural disasters. They embrace them, even find joy." His words hung heavy in the command center, stirring unease among the warrior caste. The Xarn had trained for countless battles, but none had prepared them for this. Their technology was designed to conquer physical foes, not the intangible spirit that pulsed through the humans. The planet itself was a relentless opponent, but the humans were something else entirely, a force that thrived in chaos. Further investigation revealed humans undertaking seemingly irrational activities immediately after the storm. Some gathered on hillsides to watch the clouds drift away, smiling and pointing at rainbow arcs. Others repaired broken fences and rooftops with laughter and song, while children played games in puddles that the Xarn considered dangerous. When the Xarn tried to replicate this stoicism, many found it impossible. The storm's aftermath left them cold, wet, and shaken. Their bodies ached from exposure. Their sensors struggled to recalibrate. But the humans, they walked unbothered through mud and muck, faces glowing with excitement and relief. Commander Vex stood silently watching from a ridge. "This planet is unlike any other," he muttered. "Its defenders are not warriors with weapons. They are survivors with unbreakable will. We may conquer their technology, but can we conquer their spirit?" The question lingered as the sun climbed higher, drying the earth and revealing new challenges ahead. The Xarn realized the battle for Earth would not be won by force, but by understanding the incredible resilience woven into the very lives of its inhabitants. After the storm, the Xarn leadership decided to split their forces into smaller teams, each sent to explore a different region of Earth's diverse and unpredictable landscapes. Commander Vex watched as squads prepared to face deserts, tundras, forests, and sprawling cities. Their mission was to gather intelligence and assess how humans survived these extreme conditions. The first team ventured into the vast deserts, where scorching sun beat down on endless dunes of burning sand. The Xarn, with their advanced climate-controlled suits, expected to move comfortably through this hostile environment. Instead, they found their systems struggling to maintain optimal temperatures. The dry air cracked their sensors, and even their protective armor felt like a prison. Meanwhile, the humans they encountered were astonishing. Nomadic tribes moved with practiced ease, their clothing loose and breathable, their skin toughened by years of sun and sand. They drank sparingly, conserving precious water, yet smiled warmly when offering strangers a sip. One tribe invited the Xarn to share a meal, simple but nourishing. The aliens hesitated but accepted, surprised by the resilience and hospitality of these desert dwellers. Thousands of miles north, another team braved the tundra, a frozen expanse where temperatures plunged far below zero. The Xarn's thermal regulators struggled to keep them warm. Yet they watched in amazement as humans in thick furs ice-fished through frozen lakes, sang songs around crackling fires, and played with children who darted effortlessly across ice and snow. One young human boy slipped and fell on the ice, laughing as he scrambled back to his feet. The Xarn observed how these children grew strong and agile in conditions that would have crippled many alien species. To the Xarn, these humans seemed born from the very extremes they endured. In dense forests, the Karn encountered another kind of challenge. A living maze of twisting vines, towering trees, and hidden creatures. Their scanners detected countless species, some harmless, others potentially dangerous. But the humans navigated the undergrowth with uncanny skill, moving quietly on bare feet or light shoes. Using hand signals and subtle calls, hunters tracked prey with patience and precision, gathering food without disturbing the balance of the forest. Despite the Xarn's advanced tech, they struggled to replicate this harmony with nature. One botanist among the aliens remarked in his journal, "The humans are not conquerors of this land. They are part of it." Even in sprawling urban centers, where towering buildings stretched to the clouds, the Xarn noted how humans adapted to their artificial environments. Cities teemed with life, markets overflowing with colorful fruits, children playing in crowded parks, elders tending small gardens on rooftops. The humans had transformed concrete jungles into vibrant ecosystems. For the Xarn, Earth's extremes were not obstacles but invitations to grow stronger. The humans' ability to endure harsh deserts, freezing tundras, dense forests, and bustling cities revealed a species finely tuned to the planet's challenges. The Deathworlders didn't just survive. They thrived, each environment shaping their strength and spirit. Commander Vex's voice echoed through the command ship's comms. "The planet tests us at every turn, but it is the humans who pass these tests with laughter and grace. We face not just a species, but a living force molded by extremes." As night fell over the planet, the Xarn braced themselves for deeper exploration. The true measure of Earth's death-world nature was only just beginning to reveal itself. The Xarn teams had now traversed Earth's wildest regions, yet one mystery remained unsolved. Why did humans willingly embrace danger? Observing human behavior closely, the Xarn began to see patterns that defied their understanding. On a rocky mountain trail, the Xarn found a group of hikers. They wore light clothing, their shoes scuffed and worn, faces flushed with exertion and joy. Some slipped on loose stones, but laughed and continued onward. The Xarn's sensors recorded heightened heart rates and elevated risk indicators, yet the humans showed no signs of retreat or fear. Instead, they seemed to seek the challenge itself. Further investigations revealed humans taking part in activities that, by Xarn standards, bordered on reckless. In a small desert town, locals gathered for a race on handcrafted dune buggies, roaring engines tearing across the sand. The machines rattled and shook dangerously, yet the drivers smiled broadly, celebrating each twist and turn as a test of skill and courage. In a bustling city, the Xarn marveled at humans consuming foods described by their own kind as extremely spicy. Aliens' taste sensors reacted with discomfort, but humans ate with gusto, delighting in the fiery sensations. Some children even dared to eat the spiciest dishes first, proud of their tolerance. One scientist, Dr. Lyra, a Xarn expert in psychology, studied human reactions to these challenges. She found that humans derived satisfaction from overcoming obstacles that risked physical discomfort or harm. This was not mere survival instinct. It was a craving for experience itself, a joy in pushing boundaries. This puzzling behavior extended to entertainment. The Xarn intercepted broadcasts of humans watching extreme sports competitions, climbing sheer cliffs without safety ropes, diving into ocean depths, racing at breakneck speeds. Humans cheered and gasped at near-fatal feats, their emotions raw and unfiltered. Commander Vex convened a council of his officers, troubled by what they witnessed. How can a species endure such risks without instinctive caution? He asked. Their tolerance for pain and danger exceeds all known limits. Lieutenant Jax responded, "It may be that their minds reframe danger as opportunity. They don't see peril as a threat to avoid, but as a test to conquer." Dr. Lyra nodded. Their culture celebrates resilience. From childhood, they learn to face discomfort not with fear, but with excitement. This mindset may be the key to their survival on this death world. The Xarn realized that Earth was a planet of lessons rather than battles. The humans' willingness to embrace risk had forged a species that could endure not only the planet's hostile environment, but the unpredictable challenges life threw at them. One evening, a group of humans gathered around a fire. They sang songs of past hardships, of floods, droughts, and storms, and how each trial made them stronger. Their voices carried warmth and hope, echoing through the dark night. Commander Vex watched silently from a distance. The firelight flickered in his eyes as he acknowledged a truth growing clearer by the day. These humans were not merely surviving on a death world. They were mastering it through fearless hearts and indomitable spirit. As the Xarn continued their observations, they began to delve deeper into human culture. Unlike their own straightforward military archives, human history was a tapestry of stories, tales told and retold through generations, carried by voices, books, and glowing screens. In a small town nestled between mountains and rivers, the Xarn intercepted a broadcast from a human storyteller. She spoke of a flood that had devastated the village decades ago. Houses were swept away, farms ruined, and lives upended. Yet her tone was not one of despair. Instead, she spoke of how neighbors helped neighbors, how strangers became friends overnight, and how even in loss, the community found reasons to smile and rebuild. The Xarn listened, captivated. The stories did not dwell on destruction but celebrated resilience, hope, and renewal. Lieutenant Jack studied the broadcasts with growing fascination. This is unlike any history I have seen. Humans transform tragedy into something they can endure and even celebrate. In the city's heart, the Xarn explored a human archive, a library filled with books, recordings, and artifacts. They found diaries written during famines, letters sent during wars, and songs composed during times of hardship. The emotions were raw, but never defeated. One passage caught Commander Vex's attention. In the darkest times, when hope seems lost, we cling to the light of tomorrow. Our strength is born not from power, but from faith in each other. The words resonated deeply, challenging everything the Xarn believed about survival and strength. The human stories revealed a society that faced death, disaster, and despair not with resignation, but with courage. They laughed through the pain, joked in the face of fear, and created art that celebrated life itself. At a communal gathering, the Xarn watched humans sharing stories around a fire. The elders passed down lessons with humor and warmth, while younger generations listened intently, eyes shining with curiosity and determination. These were not just memories. They were lifelines, threads connecting past and future, weaving a fabric of resilience. Commander Vex recorded in his log, "Humanity's strength lies in their stories. Each hardship is met with a narrative that empowers and uplifts. This collective memory binds them in a way no technology can." The Xarn, trained to rely on tactics and firepower, found themselves humbled. Here was a species that conquered adversity with unity and spirit, forging strength not from domination, but from empathy and hope. The more they learned, the more the Xarn realized Earth was not merely a death world, but a crucible. It tempered humans like steel, burning away fear and leaving behind something unbreakable. As night deepened, the alien warriors remained silent. They had come to witness a conquest, but instead, they found a lesson. In the face of extinction, hope was humanity's greatest weapon. The Xarn had observed many aspects of human life, but nothing intrigued them more than the fearless nature of the children. In every corner of Earth, from bustling cities to remote villages, children played with a daring and joy that seemed almost reckless. Yet somehow, it was the foundation of the human spirit. In a sunlit park, a group of children climbed a towering old oak tree. Their small hands gripped rough bark as they scrambled higher and higher, unafraid of the dizzying height or the possibility of falling. When one child slipped, she simply laughed, caught herself, and climbed again. The Xarn watched, astonished, as these tiny beings challenged nature with nothing but curiosity and courage. Elsewhere, in a frozen village, children ran barefoot across the snow, cheeks flushed, and eyes sparkling with excitement. They built forts from ice blocks, sliding on frozen lakes with carefree abandon. The bitter cold that made the Xarn shudder was simply another playground for these young humans. A team of Xarn observers studied a remote mountain village where children invented games that seemed to test the limits of their endurance and skill. They raced across rocky trails, balanced on narrow ledges, and dove into icy rivers. The children's laughter echoed through the valleys, a sound so pure and unburdened it unsettled the hardened alien warriors. One young Xarn analyst, Sira, noted in her report, "These children exhibit a remarkable absence of fear. Their bodies and minds seem wired to embrace challenge as play, pain as learning, and risk as growth." At night, around campfires, human elders told stories to the children, not cautionary tales meant to scare them away from danger, but stories of heroes who faced great trials and emerged stronger. The children absorbed these stories with wide eyes and bright smiles, eager to follow in their footsteps. The Xarn began to understand that this fearless spirit was not reckless. It was a vital survival mechanism. In a world filled with unpredictable hazards, humans had developed a mindset that transformed fear into strength. The children's games were training grounds for resilience, teaching them to face hardship with joy instead of dread. Commander Vex observed quietly from a distance, his thoughts heavy. If the adults embody endurance, the children embody hope. This is a species whose future is forged in fearless hearts. The aliens began to see Earth not just as a death world, but as a school, where every day was a lesson in courage. The children, with their boundless energy and unshakable optimism, were the true warriors, silent but powerful defenders of humanity's legacy. As dawn broke over the planet, the Xarn reflected on the profound lesson the children offered. In a universe ruled by fear and survival, it was the fearless who thrived. As the Xarn continued their study of human society, they discovered that individual courage was only part of the equation. Equally vital was the unseen strength of community, a tightly woven network of mutual support and shared purpose that sustained humans through every hardship. In a small coastal town battered by relentless storms, the Xarn witnessed neighbors working side by side to repair shattered homes. Men and women of all ages carried heavy beams, patched roofs, and cleared debris without complaint. Children handed out food and water, their small faces determined and eager to help. Despite the destruction around them, the atmosphere was anything but despairing. People laughed and sang as they worked, their spirits lifted by the unspoken bond that held them together. The Xarn noted how no one worked alone. Even the most vulnerable were embraced and protected by their community. In sprawling urban neighborhoods, the aliens saw similar scenes. Community gardens flourished in tiny patches of earth between towering buildings. Residents shared harvests, swapped tools, and celebrated together during festivals that honored the changing seasons and the cycles of life. The Xarn observed elders teaching children ancient songs and dances, passing down traditions that nurtured belonging and identity. Lieutenant Jax marveled at how the human social connections were not limited by age, background, or status. Strangers became friends within moments, united by a common will to endure and thrive. "Their social fabric is a shield," he remarked. "It protects them in ways technology cannot." Commander Vex reflected on the importance of community during their missions. That Xarn had conquered worlds through force and fear, isolating enemies one by one. But here, strength was multiplied through cooperation and compassion. To challenge such unity was to face an enemy that could not be defeated by weapons alone. One evening, the Xarn attended a gathering in a rural village, where humans shared food and stories under a starlit sky. An elder spoke of past hardships, droughts, fires, famines, and how the community had survived by standing together. Her voice was calm but firm. "Alone, we are vulnerable. Together, we are unbreakable." The Xarn listened in silence, realizing that this unity was the source of the human's extraordinary endurance. It was not just the body or mind that survived on Earth, but the heart, connected to others, buoyed by shared hope and love. Commander Vex recorded in his log, "Our greatest lesson is that strength is not solitary. It is collective, born from trust and shared struggle. To face humanity is to face a force far greater than any single warrior." As the night deepened, the stars above Earth seemed to shine a little brighter, reflecting a truth the Karn were only beginning to understand. On this death world, survival was not a battle fought alone. It was a symphony of many voices, beating as one. After weeks of observation and reflection, Commander Vex and his Sarn warriors gathered on a quiet ridge overlooking the human village nestled among rolling hills. The sun dipped low, casting golden light over fields alive with buzzing insects, blooming flowers, and children playing without a care. The planet's rhythms, harsh yet beautiful, seemed to pulse with life. Vex looked around at his soldiers, many of whom bore the weariness of battle-hardened warriors. Yet none had fought a traditional war here. Their greatest confrontation had been with a species whose strength was invisible to weapons: resilience, courage, community, and hope. "Throughout our history," Vex began, "we have conquered worlds with force, bending them to our will. But Earth does not yield to domination. It tests all who step onto its soil, and it rewards only those who respect its trials." The soldiers nodded, many with quiet reverence. They had seen humans face floods, fires, deserts, ice, and disease, not with despair, but with a smile and steady hands. They had watched children play fearlessly, communities lift each other in times of need, and elders tell stories that bound generations. Lieutenant Jax stepped forward. "This planet has changed us. It taught us that strength is not just power, but spirit. Not just survival, but thriving in spite of all odds." The Karn had arrived expecting to conquer a death world, but they found instead a living testament to a different kind of strength, one that came from enduring the impossible with grace and unyielding hope. Vex continued, "Our mission was to claim Earth for the Tarn Empire. But now I see the truth. To conquer Earth is to conquer the human spirit itself, a task beyond our weapons or will." He looked out over the village once more. "We will withdraw our forces, not in defeat, but in respect. This world and its people have earned their place among the stars by proving that life, no matter how fragile, can overcome any trial." As the Tarn prepared to leave, a human child ran up the ridge, offering a simple gift: a smooth stone painted with vibrant colors. The child smiled shyly, eyes full of innocence and trust. Vex accepted the gift with a nod, feeling a rare warmth in his chest. The gesture spoke volumes, a silent bond forged between two species, one that understood that true strength is earned through empathy, respect, and unity. As their ships lifted off into the sky, the Karn carried with them a profound lesson from a death world, unlike any other. The power of a spirit that never breaks, a community that never abandons, and a hope that never dies. In the vast universe, some worlds conquer with fire. Earth conquered with something far greater: heart.